Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chloe, I'm a model, I'm a personal trainer and a lifestyle coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to grow your glutes. I have had so many questions about this, mainly on Instagram and also on YouTube, but if you're not following me on Instagram, it's @_ChloeInspires_. So if you don't know me and you've just randomly clicked on this video, I basically used to be a fashion model. I then quit after 6 years and wanted to gain weight, so I went to see a personal trainer. I then did a nutrition course myself, I did a personal training course myself, and then kind of got on the other side of the industry. But I've also been on my own journey. I had an eating disorder when I was younger, recovered from that, but obviously was a very low weight when I was a fashion model. So I've been trying to kind of gain muscle for the last 18 months. I will put some pictures on the screen now to show you my progress since basically the last 18 months of me following what I'm about to tell you and how I've done it. So everything I'm going to tell you is not just my experience, it is actually facts. As I said, I'm a personal trainer, so I'm talking about what's happened with me, but you can apply this to yourself and get results if you do. So I'm not just a random YouTuber just saying this. I do this with my own clients and they get results too. I'm going to talk to you about the 4 main things to grow your glutes, and it's really, really important that you follow all things. If you only follow 1 or 2, you won't get results and it could also take longer. So if you have any questions as well during this video, please comment below, and if you're not subscribed already, please make sure you subscribe to support my channel, and give this video a like as well if you do like it. Literally takes 2 seconds to do those things. And if you prefer not to write your comment in public, you can always email me. It's chloetmodel@gmail.com, and all of my information is on my website www.chloeinspires.com, including client testimonials and my services. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about the glutes. So there are 3 main muscles in your bum. There's the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius, and the gluteus minimus. I'll put a picture on the screen to show you. The maximus is like the main one in the middle, so a lot of you probably, when you think of your bum, only really think of that, but there are in fact 3 muscles in your bum. So we're going to talk about how to grow muscle in general. The process of growing muscle is called hypertrophy. To grow a muscle, it takes 3 main things: progressive tension overload of the muscle, so increasing weight over time and increasing the tension of the muscle damage, which is repaired through nutrition and rest, and metabolic stress. So these 3 things, progressive tension overload, metabolic stress and muscle damage, will lead to hypertrophy. And to grow muscles, you need to be increasing your volume over time. So volume is reps times sets times weight. It's really important when building your program to grow your glutes that each week your volume is going up, every couple of weeks, but basically over time, over your training period, your volume needs to be going up. So that'll be either weight, reps or sets. And for rep range, when doing a hypertrophy style program, so remember hypertrophy is different to strength. We're looking at muscle growth here because you want to grow your glutes. You want to be looking at 3 to 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps. Anything less than 6 reps, you're more looking at strength training, but here you're on this video because you want to grow your glutes. So we're looking at 10 to 12 reps and 3 to 4 sets. So you want to make sure that every weight that you're lifting is 80% of your 1 RM. 1 RM is repetition max. So if you can lift 1 rep of 100 kilos, then you want to be lifting through your set 80% of that. So you want to be making sure that basically on the last rep you're really, really struggling and you literally can just push that last rep out. If you get to rep 10 and you're like, this is so easy, and then you stop, it's not going to grow your glutes. So you really want to, if you imagine you're doing the hip thrust, really on the 10th rep you want to be like literally finding it so hard, and if you don't, then you basically need to increase the weight. And the other thing that's really important is intensity and your total volume over a week. So you want to be, like I said, working really, really hard, and you want to be training the glutes 2 to 3 times a week. So I incorporated my glute training into leg and hamstring day. So like on one of the days I did glutes and hamstrings, and one of them I did legs and glutes. So I'll be talking more about that later in this video. That's really, really important. I personally trained my program program. I trained them twice a week, but just because I was so sore as well. Then I did 2 upper body days, and then I did 2 cardiovascular days, because it's really, really important if you're building your glutes to still maintain your cardiovascular fitness, but you don't want to be doing anything too impactful on your body, especially if you are in the process of building muscle. And you also don't want to be doing anything too calorie burning, because if you are trying to gain, it's just going to defeat the whole point. So like going on a 2-hour run is not like the best idea. So I actually personally did spinning, so I just did half an hour of spinning twice a week, and then 2 upper body and 2 glutes days. But you could do 3, just don't neglect your upper body. The next thing I'm talking about is equipment. So I definitely recommend getting a pad for your hip thrusts. So I have this one from Beast Gear, and I've got a discount code in the description box. If you guys want to get one for yourself, you can get 10% off. I really recommend them because this one in particular, this company, they've got a really strong Velcro strap, so it literally will not fall off. They do tend to have them at gyms, but if someone else is using it, then you can't use it. They're also used by everyone. They get sweaty, they get broken. A lot of them you can't even shut the thing properly, and then they slide off. At least you know if you've got your one, you know it's there and you know it's good. And this will basically protect your hip bones when you're doing hip thrusts, because you will get bruised hips, especially when you're lifting heavy weight, and obviously the barbell is metal going straight onto bone. It will basically really, really hurt. You can also use mats, but it's just really annoying because they get in the way, and you can't also check your form very well because you can't really see your leg alignment, which is really important because you don't want your legs coming in. I'd also recommend getting bands. These are brilliant for some of the exercises I'm going to show you in this video, and I've also got a link below for them, so if you want to grab yourself some of these. I've got a pack of 5, so they're all different strengths. So like this is the strongest, this is the middle one, and then there's weaker ones. These are also really important for glute activation. If you haven't seen my glute activation video, I'll link it below and put the thumbnail on the screen, but you need to do that at the beginning of every glute workout, and these are really important for that. Also, you might want to get yourself some lifting straps. Again, I've got some from Beast Gear, which I keep in here, and these are really good if you get sore wrists or you get sore hands, and you get sweaty hands as well if your gym's quite hot and you find your hands slipping on the barbell. These are really, really good. And again, there's a discount code below if you guys want to get yourself some of these. Regarding shoes, you can get squat shoes and deadlift shoes, and they basically have a very, very flat sole. You don't want to be wearing running shoes or just your standard trainers. They are the worst for all of these types of exercises because they bring your feet raised. They normally have a bit of a raise at the back. You're uneven. You need to have a flat foot. So if you don't have squat shoes or deadlift shoes like I don't, you can wear Converse, you can wear barefoot, so I just normally wear socks. You can also wear plimp soles, anything like that. You just want a really, really flat sole. I just find wearing socks is the best thing because you can really feel the floor, and your foot is completely flat. Okay, so we've covered the first 2 things, which was muscles and how they grow and how many times you need to train them and all of that stuff for hypertrophy. We've covered equipment, and now we're going to be covering nutrition. So to build muscle, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So you need to be eating above maintenance. You need to be making sure that those foods are coming from healthy, nutritiously dense whole foods, not processed foods, because you're at risk of gaining even more fat. You're going to gain fat, a little bit of fat anyway, but don't worry because you can work it off later, but even more so if you're eating processed foods. So you want to be making sure also that you prioritize protein and carbohydrates, because carbohydrates you need for energy, especially with the amount that you're going to be working out and lifting. Protein you're going to need to repair the muscle fibers for them to grow. Fat is important too, but if you're in a calorie surplus, fat is very filling, so it can be quite annoying if you're having a lot of fat in your diet because you're full all the time. So if you want to email me or ask any questions about macros and how many calories you should be eating, just drop me an email at chloe@tmodel.com. All my services are on my website, as I said, chloeinspires.com. That's a separate topic, but basically you do need to be in a surplus. You need to be also making sure that you are eating good meals pre and post workout, not within the hour. You can even have a post-workout meal 2 hours later, just as long as you are eating, and you don't want to be going to the gym starving. So you want to be fueling your workouts and not with like caffeine and pre-workout, with actual food. So finally, the last point we're going to go on to is all of the exercises that I've used to build my glutes. Now these are the ones that I've done, so they're not actually all of the ones, they're the ones that I've used. This is not what I'm about to show you a workout, because I'm going to show you a load of exercises, so you need to design your workout from these exercises. Again, I offer personal training online if you want to ask me any questions, but you're going to need to design your workout from the following exercises. I wanted to show you all of them because I thought if I just show you one workout, it's not true. I've done loads of workouts, like I just mix a lot of these exercises up. So one thing I want to firstly say is I did not do any squats. I really don't like squats. I do like goblet squats with like a kettlebell and stuff like that, but I just really don't like squats. I don't enjoy them. I do them once every 2 months. So I didn't actually include that in this video because it would kind of be lying to you. I'm quite quad dominant as well, which you might be, which is where you use a lot of your quads to do squats, not your glutes. So if I am training quads, I do squats. The other thing that if you do enjoy squats, a really good thing to do is half squats and pulse squats. So you come down and you come up halfway, go down, up halfway, down, but you really need to make sure that you're engaging your glutes, not just your quads. I just wanted to say that at the beginning. So first of all, we're going to go into our compound lifts. Make sure before you start any exercises you do your glute activation. Like I said, there's a link below for the video on glute activation and what exercises to do, but it's really, really important before starting any sort of glute workout that you activate the glutes first. First of all is the deadlift. Now for glute engagement, I find the sumo deadlift much better. So with the sumo deadlift, you want your feet quite wide apart with your toes pointing out. You normally can go heavier as well on the sumo deadlift. As you can see, I am wearing my socks, as I said, because it's so much easier to have a flat foot than wearing trainers. And again, I do 4 sets of about, normally with deadlift it's about 10 reps because I find them quite exhausting. Like they will really get your heart rate up, especially when you're lifting heavy. That's a compound lift as well because you're using your whole body. Make sure you engage your lats and your scapula first before you pick up the bar, and just tuck your arms kind of in and then pull. It's quite hard to explain on a video. And also make sure that your head isn't hanging down as well through the whole lift. So yeah, 4 sets. I normally do them right at the beginning of the workout after my glute activation. You can also do conventional deadlift, there's absolutely no harm in that, and I did throughout my program. I'm just saying that I found the sumo used my glutes a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with the conventional deadlift, you just have your legs closer together. I did also incorporate sumo deadlifts with a kettlebell in my workout. This would be later on when I was doing accessory work, and I normally supersetted it with something. So it's exactly the same but with a kettlebell, and that's really good to superset with like cable hip thrusts or single hip thrusts, split squats, anything like that. So the next compound lift was hip thrust, and there have been studies to show that hip thrust is one of the exercises that engages the glutes the most. If you want to check out the man who invented hip thrust, his name is Bret Contreras, and you can have a look at a lot of the studies that he's done and research that he's done on hip thrust. But they are brilliant, and as you can see on the screen, again I do 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps, heavy weight. If you find it difficult to do hip thrust, you can also do single leg hip thrust. As you can see on the screen, I'm demonstrating, and you can rest a plate on your lap. They are just as good, and I definitely incorporate them in my workout every 2 weeks. Like, instead of, if I haven't done hip thrust at the beginning, I sometimes do single later on in the workout when I'm doing accessory work. I wouldn't call them a compound lift, but they're really good because obviously you're working each glute separately, so you can really concentrate on each glute. But I definitely try and incorporate proper hip thrusts as well. Another exercise I did was the leg press. Now every gym I go to has a different leg press, so I'm going to show you both of them. When there was a linear leg press, I found it much easier to engage my glutes. And what I would do is do 4 sets, and I would do not a really heavy weight, because I'd actually do 8 reps with my feet high on the platform. You've got to make sure that they're high and you're pushing with your heels so you engage your glutes, not your quads. Then I do 8 reps with my feet like this, so I'm pushing like a frog, like a V shape, and they really engage your glutes. So I do that back to back, so 8 high, then 8 like this, rest, and then repeat that 4 times. Now when the gym has a horizontal leg press, like the one on the screen, so you're pushing horizontally, I wear a band. I find this engages my glutes so much more because you're pushing, obviously resisting the band, and you're using more of your glutes. and I don't go as heavy again because I want to make sure that I'm pushing with my heels so that I'm engaging my glutes. If you push with your front of your foot, you're at risk of damaging your knees, and you'll also be using way more of your quads. So make sure you're pushing with your heels on the leg press. Next one I did normally further on in the workout is a cable hip thrust. So with a cable hip thrust, you want to make sure you're doing a fairly heavy weight, otherwise you'll literally just be swinging with no engagement, and you just want to sort of walk out, shuffle out. It is quite awkward to do in the gym, but it's such a good exercise for hamstring and glute engagement. The more straight your legs are, like I have in the video, I will be engaging more of my hamstrings. If you do bend your legs a little bit more, it does really isolate your legs, but your glutes, but I do find I quite like working a little bit of the hamstring just under. The hamstring is the back of the thigh, and I do quite like working a little bit under the bum as well, just to help tone that sort of bit and make sure that my legs are even. I'm not just working my glutes, make sure that they're strong all over. So yeah, you pull it out, just make sure your back is straight, and I normally do 3 sets of these, about 10 reps, and I normally superset them with something like the sumo kettlebell, like banded glute bridges, anything like that. So another exercise, split squats. Again, these have also been researched a lot for their glute engagement. You might know them as Bulgarian split squats, or a bit like lunges basically with your leg raised. I find these much easier to do on the Smith machine because you don't have to, like when you've got a barbell on your back, you have to sort of like jump around, get into position. It's quite difficult. I also find for some reason that I have more glute engagement with a bar on my back rather than using dumbbells, but you will still see people using dumbbells, which is fine. But I just prefer doing it on the Smith machine. Like in this clip, I did use this to protect my shoulders. If you want to do it, it is quite good for that if you have bony shoulders, or if the bar just rubs on your back. And I normally do 10 reps of these, 8 to 10 reps and 3 sets, and I sometimes superset them with something. They're quite tiring, and they really get your heart rate up, and just make sure you are engaging your core on these as well. So another exercise is lunges. I find that when I do normal lunges, I don't engage my glutes very much. But if I do walking lunges, they are really, really good, and I just slightly lean forward to engage more of my glutes. I also do static lunges, so again I lean forward and then I don't come fully up, so I'm really pressuring, like putting the engagement on that glute, straight down, bring it up and then hold. You can see in the clip what I'm doing. And normally 8 to 10 reps on each leg. Another one is reverse lunges on the Smith machine. I used to do, or still do. I haven't got any footage of that, but it's on the Smith machine, and instead of putting your foot out forwards, you put it behind you, so it's a reverse lunge. And on the Smith machine you can go a bit heavier. With a static lunge as well, you can do that on the Smith machine and again go heavier. So another exercise that I did was banded glute bridges, and you don't have to do them banded, you can do them no band, but you will need to use a lot heavier weight than I am in this video. But I did high reps, so I did 20 reps. If you band your legs, you'll find it so much harder in a good way. It will engage your glutes a lot more, and also it's quite good to superset this with something, whereas if you're going really, really heavy, obviously you don't want to superset it with anything else. These are similar to hip thrust, but you've got less range of motion, because obviously with the hip thrust you can go quite deep and then come quite high. With these you've only got a tiny kind of gap between your glutes and the ground to move, so the range of motion is a lot smaller. Just again, make sure you are pushing through your heels and not through your toes. If you do find the bar is really, really sore on your hips, I definitely recommend getting one of these. Discount code is below, like I said before, just to protect your hip bone. Another exercise I did, which I didn't film, is back extensions, but using the glutes. So with back extensions, I'll get a picture of the machine and put it on the screen, but you want to be holding a plate or start with body weight, and when you go down you want to come up but not all the way, because otherwise you will be using the back, which is what the machine is intended for. But if you come to sort of 3/4 of the way and hold it for 2 seconds using your glutes, so when you're coming up you only use your glutes to pull you up, nothing else. Hold, squeeze the glutes, come all the way back down, hold, and then all the way back down, that's a really good exercise, and you'll feel it in your hamstrings as well, so a little bit under the bum. Using a plate obviously makes it more difficult, and I definitely still use those a lot. They're really good for glute engagement. So just going to cover a couple of hamstring exercises I did, because I do think that's important for not glute growth specifically, but obviously a lot of exercises, for like deadlifts, you are using your hamstrings as well, and you do use a little bit of glutes during these exercises. So the Romanian deadlift you can do with dumbbells or a bar. I like to superset this with something as well that doesn't work my hamstrings, so more glute focused exercises. So you could do glute bridges superset with these. If you don't know what a superset is, it's an exercise that's like back to back, and a tricep is 3 exercises back to back. If I superset it with a glute exercise, it's quite good because it's really focused on the hamstrings. Another one I do is hamstring curls on an exercise ball. These are so difficult. They really work your hamstrings, and you can do them one-legged, two-legged. They're quite a good finisher to the end of a workout, but I definitely recommend adding them in for your hamstrings. And the good thing is that you can also have a ball at home and do them from home, so you don't even need to be at a gym to do those. So those were the main exercises that I've used to build my glutes over the last 18 months. So the pictures that you see on the screen are basically how I've done that, and I have been in a calorie surplus for 12 months. Yeah, it was about 12 months. I think it was about 10 to 12 months of that training period, because as you can see, I needed to do a lot of work. But you don't need to be in a surplus that long if you're not as small as I was. You need 3 to 6 months. Literally, it depends on your starting weight though, so, and your, like, how you look now. So I really can't tell you because I don't know what you look like. I don't know your height, anything like that. So it's really difficult for me to tell how long you should be on that for. I definitely recommend doing measurements and taking photos every 2 weeks, because you'll be surprised. I, a lot of the time, forget the difference, and then you do a photo and you're like, whoa, like you forget the change. And it's also good that if you're not making any changes, then there's something that's not right. You can build muscle in a maintenance, so if you want to not be in a surplus, but it will take such a long time, and girls out there, we don't have testosterone, so it takes even longer for us. I would recommend going, you don't need to go in a massive surplus, I'm talking 10% increase, and then do that for a bit. When it plateaus, you can then increase by another 5% and then another 5%. So 10% calorie increase is not a lot. So don't think that you're going to start increasing by like 500 calories or something, because it's not. But nutrition is really important. Rest is really, really important, because that is the time that your muscles grow. So getting enough sleep, having a rest day every week, and also drinking enough water is really, really important. So it's not just what happens in the gym, it's also outside the gym as well. So if this video was helpful, please make sure you give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I am going to be doing an update in a few weeks, just more about where I'm going with everything. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see I've had a bit of a change of direction. I'm going to be talking more about intuitive eating and how I've been tracking onto intuitive eating. I've got a couple of model videos coming up as well, like the pros and cons of being a model and how to get into the industry. So I get a lot of messages about that, and I want people to know before they go into the modelling industry, like some facts about it and how it all kind of works. If you've got any video ideas or anything that you'd want me to film, then just comment below, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!